What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Millsy, back with Hometown Commander, or back for our first episode of 10 card upgrades for the Fallout Precons. I'm so excited to bring this back. I hope that you're excited for this. And as always, the deck list, including my upgrades, is going to be down in the description below. Well, in fashion, like we learned from the Karlov Manor Precons, I couldn't just stick to 10, especially for this deck, being the deck I was the most excited for. I actually went 14 instead of a 10. A little bit of extra, but I think they're justifiable, and as we talk through why I want to make these 10 card upgrades to 14, I think you'll understand. Well, first off, with our upgrades, we're going to bring in a couple bobbleheads. Now, the deck already includes, I believe, if I recall correctly, 2 bobbleheads. One of them I'm not a giant fan of, the one that's about rolling the dice, I took out, but I kept the bobblehead that makes the tokens, and we're going to add 3 more bobbleheads. The reason is to make all of them better, and I think all 3 of these work with our deck. The first, giving up to X target creatures with control haste until end of turn and can't be blocked except by creatures with haste. The middle one, giving X creatures +1/+1 indestructible, or a great ability, especially when we get into combat. And then the third one, giving X+1/+1 counters on a creature where X is the number of bobbleheads. I think the middle one, the Endurance bobblehead, is definitely the best of the 3 of these, giving indestructibility, making sure that either Caesar or any of our other creatures get in combat. But the other 2 can be very helpful as well, considering not a ton of creatures in our game have haste, and so giving something haste and not being able to be blocked except by creatures with haste, I think is going to get them through for some good damage. Well, along with the bobbleheads, I think we're going to add a couple secondary commanders to the deck. Mr. House is in the deck, and we're taking that out because we really don't care about the dice rolling at all, but we're adding this slate of Mardu legends. In the middle, we have Ishin, where a lot of my inspiration for the deck came from. If a creature attacking would cause a triggered ability of a permanent you control trigger to triggers an additional time. This is not going to double Caesar, but a lot of the other creatures in our deck, especially some we're going to talk about after this, and I think Ishin is really important. Flanking it to left or right, we have Mishra and Commissar Severina Rain. Both of these are very similar abilities. Our opponent's losing X life, and on Mishra gaining X life, and on Commissar not, depending on the number of attacking creatures we control. What I really like about these abilities is this is going to take that third ability on Caesar, dealing damage to target opponent equal to the number of tokens we control, and kind of compound onto it with similar type effects. These care about creatures that are attacking, and the really cool way we can do this is if we stack our triggers properly, we can get Caesar's triggers or any of our other creatures that make tokens that come in tapped and attacking, stack those triggers on top, and then get these to go off on the bottom and actually deal more damage to our opponents. Both of these kind of act as mini commanders, and both are going to be doubled by Ishin if we see them at the same time. Well, talking about creatures that make creatures tapped and attacking, we have a slate of 3 of them right here. Adeline and Impicall and Hero Bladehold all are going to make creatures tapped and attacking. Adeline makes a 1/1 human attacking everyone. An Impicall is going to make more and more colorless gnomes as it grows in power. And Hero Bladehold is always going to make 2 1/1 soldiers tapped and attacking. Now, if you're interested, going up today will also be my full upgrade to the deck, and where we're going to care a lot more about those soldier typings on cards. And so an Impicall and those tokens make a little bit more of a difference there. But here, with any of these out, we're adding to not only the number of tokens we control, but the number of attacking creatures to benefit those 3 that we just talked about. Finishing up kind of the round of the things that really care about making tokens, we have Krenko, who makes tokens on attack. Now, unfortunately, those tokens don't come in tapped and attacking, but they're going to count for Caesar's count of how many tokens we have. Same thing with Rabble Rousing. Whenever we attack with 1 or more creatures, we make that many citizens. Again, they don't come in tapped and attacking, but they're going to count for Caesar's ability and start to deal damage. I think Rabble Rousing is one of the single best cards we can add to this deck, because it's just going to get out of hand the more and the more attacking we do. We're going to end up replacing our tokens that if they die in combat and just dealing damage out. And on the left-hand side, the Horn of Gondor kind of, I think, plays 2 really cool roles in the deck. 1, we have so many humans in the deck already, meaning we're already going to have a pretty high human count for its ability. But 2, it makes soldiers, so if we play into that tribal synergy with soldiers, Horn of Gondor is going to do that for us and allow us to really take advantage of them. And the last 2 cards I added here are both enchantments, and I think both have their own benefits in their own way. Mardu Ascendancy on the left is a staple of that Ishin type build, making each non-token creature we control attack with give us a 1/1 red Gabo tapped and attacking. Again, for the purpose of Caesar's ability. What I like about this is Caesar's on the battlefield, you can actually put Mardu Ascendancy ahead of it, make the Gabo, and then sack that Gabo to Caesar's ability to give you those two 1/1s if you want to work it out that way. And then Prosperous Partnership is a card that I have had a lot of fun with in Jetmir. It's done a lot of good stuff for me there. When it comes in, you make 2 citizens, and then we can tap 3 untapped creatures we control to create a treasure. What I love about that second ability is that you can leave your creatures up to block, potentially, or with some of those abilities like Rabble Rousing or Horn of Gondor, they're going to bring those tokens in untapped. Of course, they're not going to have haste, but we could keep them untapped until through our opponent's turns. Then before our turn, tap a bunch of them to get treasures, and now we're funding our next turns. Those are the 14 cards that we did choose to add. So these are the 14 cards I'm going to take out, just for the purposes of how I wanted to spin this deck, caring more about creating tokens on attack and taking advantage of those attacking triggers. I thought these are the cards that didn't necessarily do that. So this is my suggestion of what to take out if you want to go down this route of updating. And finally, not sure why it did this. And finally, the total cost, as of today recording it, total cost to buy all of these cards for your deck, TCG Player comes in about $45, card king about $40 with shipping. So we're looking at about a $40 upgrade to put all these cards in, and I think it will just compound your deck towards the future. Like I said, deck list is going to be down in the description below. I'd love to hear what you think of these upgrades, and I will catch you next time.